Back to the UK now, and 4 days of climate protests by Extinction, Rebellion and other groups is now underway. The environmental campaigners claim up to 50,000 people are heading to London to set out climate demands. Well, Sky's home editor Jason Farrell is in central London. Jason, how are things?
Well, I'm on one of the main roads that runs between government departments here in Westminster. So behind me is the Department of Education, just around the corner there. And beyond that, it would be the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero. And outside there, for example, you have people who are protesting against the expansion of oil exploration. Then if you go around the corner here, you can see there are people outside the Home Office at the end of Marshall Street, and beyond that there's the Department for Transport, for example, where they're campaigning against HS2. Outside the Department of Levelling Up, there's another group of campaigners campaigning, for example, against the expansion of coal and the introduction of coal mining in Cumbria. I'm joined here by one of the co-founders of Extinction Rebellion, Claire Farrell. Claire, what's the idea of this weekend? Because a whole weekend of protests, isn't it?
Yeah, so the whole point of this is to bring as many people as possible together. We've got over 200 organisations. I think they've got a reach of, somewhere close to tens, if not 100 million memberships of people. So there's an awful lot of people now coming together to organise and to commit to doing this demonstration this weekend, but also working together, I think, in an ongoing way.
Now, you haven't brought your super glue.
No.
You're not going to stick yourself to anything, I understand. No. And you're not going. It's going to be more discourse than disruption. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I think we're looking at the moment at a bigger ecosystem of change than when we first set out. Obviously, XR is like 5 years old. There are people in the mix, Just Stop Oil, Insulate Britain, people that are doing more radical campaigning.
And is that putting people off?
I don't think so. I think it's very helpful. I think it brings urgency. I think they bring a youth voice, does loads of really important stuff, but we also need a bigger movement.
Yeah, you were saying to me when you started this up, you expected more of your friends to join in what you were doing.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
And that you think might change now. Just talk me through that.
Well, I was surprised because when we started it, it's obviously a shock, right? When a social movement takes off, you go, well, that's quite surprising that it's worked, in inverted commas. I presumed a lot of my friends who understood what I was saying would show up, and they actually didn't. But this weekend, loads of them are coming, those people that I was surprised didn't turn up. And we know there's like a latent support for all of the things that we say, and a lot of the people don't come. We need them to start showing up.
But is that because this is a bit more grown up? The other stuff is a bit immature and it's disruptive and people don't like it?
I don't think immature is the right word. It takes an enormous amount of maturity to actually go out and do civil disobedience and face arrest and lose your liberty. So it's not about a lack of respect for that work, but it's an understanding that there are people engaged in different layers of participation in our efforts. And, the lawyers recently who've refused to prosecute climate activists, that's their way of doing rebellion. There's going to be more of that, I think, across different professions. Different groups of society need to work out what they can do to be maximally effective.
OK, Claire, thank you very much for talking to us. One thing that the activists here have said that they won't be doing, for example, is disrupting the London Marathon this Sunday. They do say this is a peaceful protest. There will be a lot of noise throughout the weekend, but of course the question really is the government listening?
That is the question, certainly. Jason Farrell, thank you very much indeed.